like you to talk to your people next to you and discuss on what would be the objective of your student. Just a 1-minute discussion with your people sitting left and right. What would be the objective of your student? Why would your student come to your class? Why would your student come to your university or college? Could you please have a small, tiny discussion among your fellow people, and then I'll come back to you. One thing I noticed is nobody's talking. You're very good students. Are your students like this too? Never interacts? Yes? Your time grows up looking. That's pretty sad. Anyway, one of the major employability skill is communication. Do we have that? The other day I was checking into a hotel and the hotel receptionist was processing the papers, hardly ever spoke. She hardly made me look and feel good. That is not an employability skill a receptionist should have. And I was thinking, which university, which institute should she have been trained? Education again. This is the lack of education. If we instructors are not ready to participate in discussions, how are we going to educate our students and teach them employability skill as basis as in communication skill? We need to think about it. Anyway, so if one or two of you could tell me what would be the goal or an objective of a student from your discussions. Could any one of you tell me what would be? Yes. You can just say that. I can repeat it.
I think one of the very clear objective of a student coming to higher education is to earn a living.
To earn a living. Excellent. Is there anybody who differs to that? Yes.
There are other questions.
Yes.
We talk of learning, but this is higher sense of education.
Yeah. Okay. But no. What I'm telling is, from a student's point of view, if he comes to a higher for seeking a living, right?
Sure.
Sure. Is there any other? Yes. Making himself ready, employability skills, to learn, to gain employability skills. What else? Is there anything else other than these two? Employability skills. So basically, to make a living and get employability skills and make a living out of it. But what would you do with students who are already managers of big companies, directors of big companies, who are sitting on top of business houses? What would you do with such students? Do they have this goal of, no, I have to make money, I have to have employability skills? No, they don't have. Yes.
So there is a very important thing that leads to education as a director, as manager.
Yes.
You need expansion of knowledge.
Okay.
You may be just doing production job and you are being short of something. But as you grow in the company, maybe now to sales, marketing. So there is a need for such kind of people to be further educated.
Further education.
And
Okay.
university education is a higher level does come in.
Excellent. Very good. I take that. So,
I just wanted to say something.
This microphone.
Yeah, ma'am. The
Yes.
thing is, when you say that if there are managers and directors who are in the classroom and they have to be educated, so the point is that anyone, when he reaches at a level,
yeah.
has to, his horizon is quite big now. When he starts from the ground to when he reaches to the top.
Yeah.
And when he reaches to the top, the only thing which I understand is most important is how he develops his team. What are the things that he should know so that his team, his human resource develops too.
Excellent.
Because
So team
mandatory
management.
ones can create more leaders.
Management skills, yes, I understand
That's
that.
what is
Now,
most important.
why I'm telling this is, I want to talk to you about the profile of my students at my university. My students, they are on an average 30 to 40-year-old. I teach language for engineering and aviation engineering. And they're all employed. They're all directors. They drive, they cruise along in their Lamborghinis and BMWs and Mercedes. And they come and park. And then they come to the class with a cigarette in their hand and 4 or 5 cell phones, big shots, people. And so why would they come to class? Why would they want to learn? So that was my first query when I took up this job. You know what, to come here to Delhi, I had to tear myself away from my mom, who is hardly a high school graduate, but she's an excellent manager who keeps the who keeps the family together, manages the household together, hardly educated. And then I meet some educated, so-called educated colleagues, friends, families, relatives, who can hardly manage their household together, who can hardly manage their finance together, who can hardly manage a relationship. And they're so-called educated people. So there's a dichotomy here. Uneducated, hardly literate, and there are educated people who can hardly run a life. And so, what is education for? What kind of people are we aiming to get out of this education that we are talking about here from morning till evening? And so then, I talk about my profile of my students. Now, employability skills, when we talk about employability skills, we said communication, team management, all of that. Are we producing this in our education? I'm just a language teacher. How am I going to bring this employability skills in my students? So that was the concern. I'll give you 2-3 scenarios in which I brought about the transformations in my students so that they view life in a different way, and then they take care of their own businesses in a different way. The first thing was recently the football matches that was happening. It was a football place. Kuwait is a football crazy nation, I would say. And I go to the classroom, I see my students all busy involved talking in Arabic about their famous football players, the famous matches, the famous kicks that they saw. And I walk into the classroom and I see this kind of engagement in my class. Now, being an adult educator, I always believe in andragogy. From morning till evening, I'm here until here, I haven't heard this word andragogy in our session. Andragogy is how to teach others. Pedagogy, how to teach children. We cannot teach our adults like we teach our children. That's the first step. So I am going to my class with this andragogy principle, and I'm trying to engage all these principles in my adult students. So I go to the class, I see my students talking, and I want to engage them in the subject that I was going to teach that day. So I asked them, so who was your best player? Where is he coming from? Neymar, Miss Molly, Neymar is my best player. Okay, where is he coming from? Brazil, okay. And so where is Brazil? Which country is it next to? So I open up this discussion, and then they slowly learn about geography and the economy of the country and all of this through this discussion. And if they don't know something about, okay, so what was the best thing that was invented during this football match? And I'm asking this question and they hardly know about it. They only know about the jersey number, the famous players. So I asked them, okay, so what was the famous thing that was invented, or the best innovative thing that was invented during this football match, and they hardly know about it. So I tell them, okay, take up your mobile, hook onto your Wi-Fi and find out research, right? So they are doing research on what was the famous thing that was found or innovated during this football match. And then they come up and then they stand up and say, Miss, the phone, invisible phone. That was a new invention during this football match. Okay. And then there are girls in my class. They're hardly opening their mouth because, football is all for boys, right? No, girls, they don't have anything to do with football. That's what they think. Anyway, I had to change this mindset. So that is transformation. How do I change this mindset? So I tell, okay, now let us research on something else. And I ask them, okay, find out the next important thing that was invented during the football match. And then when you talk about research, girls are very good at it. They go onto their Google, immediately take up their mobile, and then they research. And then I tell them, if you found your answer, please come and write it on the board. They write it on the board, and I see the girls' session is full, getting full with all kinds of information. The boys hardly talking about their famous players and not doing their research. So there I tell them, well, the girls are really doing good. And then the next day, there was another topic that I was teaching. It was about materials and properties and all of that. Again, I tell them to research. And I use technology in the classroom. And so this gives them an empowerment. They want to learn more. It's not the information that I want to transfer. I want them to find out the information. And then this is how, using andragogy principles, we teach our students. And then, after 4 or 5 sessions, one of the girls come to my class and then said, "Miss, you know what? I enrolled for the girls' football match." She enrolled in the girls' football team. So that was a big transformation in the student, you know. So we teachers, we are not just transforming knowledge, we are not just motivating, we are not just inspiring our students, but we have to transform mental makeup that they are built with or they are coming into a classroom. Now my students, big students in the class, they're big, right? Adult students, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, how do you treat them? You know the smiley faces? You all know the smiley faces, the emoticons that we have. Now, there was a writing class that was happening, and one of the students, I was teaching them how to write technical writing, and what should be there in an introduction. And then the student writes something, and I have noticed that this student is not such a motivated student. He hardly comes to the class, he fiddles with his mobile, sits in the room, and when a 50-minute session is over, he walks out. Now, I want to motivate this student. So what I do is, I go around him, I see what he has written, and then I draw a smiley face. On his paper, I draw a smiley face. He looked at me, you know, a 30-year-old big macho man doing aviation engineering. He looked at the smiley face and me, and for one moment, he was blank. Okay? And the next day, I start the second paragraph of the writing. And then he writes something, and then I don't draw a smiley face, but I draw a sad face. Because that's what he's written there. I couldn't give a smiley face. So that was a motivation for him. The next day he comes to me and he says, "Well, miss, today what are you going to give me?" I said, "Why?" "You know what? More than me, my 6-year-old daughter is very much interested in knowing what you're going to give me, what your teacher is going to give you." So that was a motivation for him that he wanted to perform well. I said, "If you perform well, I can give you a smiley face." And then he did it best. He was so motivated to come to my writing class. You know, writing classes are very boring classes for most of the teachers. Yeah, I teach language, so they say, "How do you do a writing class? It's so boring." You know, speaking and listening classes are very interesting, but writing class is boring. But this is how I introduced a small emoticon, a smiley face, into my class. And that was it. Transformation happened. Everybody wanted a smiley face. You would think big adult student wanted a smiley face for children. No, things have changed. You adapt whatever is there, and then you adapt it at the right moment. Things change. Transformation happens. Learning happens in the classroom. The other day I was teaching the materials and properties of aviation engineering. I was talking to them about tensile flexibility and all kinds of materials in the aviation industry. And then there was this kind of property that I added. It was not given in the textbook. I just added degradable or reusable into that property. So they were going through all these materials. And then there wasn't anything that was degradable or reusable or recyclable. And then they started exploring about it. And then what they did was they started researching what could be the materials in aviation industry that they use that is recyclable. And you know what, the whole class, the concept of this, just introducing one small concept, brought about a big discussion in my students, and then they started a campaign in the college about recyclable and reusable. And what they did was, my students, they always walk around with the Pepsi bottles and water bottles. And you know what, they started a campaign in the college, how to recycle materials. And from then on, you know, they're a very rich country, they don't even have to bother about these Pepsi bottles and water bottles. But what they did was, they started a campaign, they asked every student to use those recycled bins which was color coded, and what they did was, a company called Green Target contacted these people and they said they will provide free recyclable bins. There was employability right there. The emoticons, one of the students said, "Miss, I'm going to provide stickers, emoticon stickers." with different kinds of wordings into that. And then he started up his own business, emoticon business. And he provided most of the institutions in Kuwait with these stickers for the teachers. And some of the institutions started ordering those. So he created self-employability. The small thing started self-employability in students. Things can change, you just have to. Today's education is tomorrow's society. If only we could change the mindset. My students, they hardly have to come to the class with this. Okay, by the way, you know why my students come to the class? They used to find a good life partner. That was their only, I'm not joking. That was their only aim to find, because to get married, the girl's family would always see whether he was an educated guy. So he just had to have a certificate of education and he would get a girl. So, but that has changed now. There's transformation happening. If only you could be transformational teachers, things change, mindsets change. Today's education is tomorrow's society. We don't want that so-called educated people. We don't want that so-called literate people. We want intellectual people who can think, who can employ themselves, who can give employability to others. And all this can happen in a classroom from the teacher. So the way you teach using andragogy. Now, principles of andragogy, I'll just leave you with this. Principles of andragogy. In the principles of andragogy, when you teach children, they don't have to know what you're teaching, what they're learning, and why they have to learn. But when you teach an adult, he has to know what he's learning, why he has to learn that. So first thing first, you have to set the objectives. Why you're learning, what you're going to teach, and how you're going to teach. A student should know, an adult learner should know. The second thing is, an adult learner always comes with his own experience. He might be an attendant, or he might be whatever job he is doing, but he has some kind of experience. Use that experience in your teaching. He will be very happy. The third thing is respect. Adult educators always require respect. I had a teacher who once came to my class, and a new teacher, who once came to my class and he said, in India this would never work, but in Kuwait it is working. I said, what? In India I make sure that none of them are pierced their ears, they wear neat clothes, they don't come with the cigarettes. I said, things have changed, you just have to adapt. You can't expect the same Indian system in this country that you're employed. So you have to be flexible, but at the same time, respect. You give respect to the youngsters, they give it back, or the others. So those are the three main things, important things that you must think of as an educator in the classroom. Educators can transform, and it begins in your classroom.